Hello, 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 hello. Good morning, friends. Nice to see you. Here we are again. Sunny morning for some of us, looks like. It's looking out the window here. It was frosty last night. And yeah, kind of beautiful pale sun just rising. My window face east there. Another day, another dharma. So nice to see you all and to have some time to sit together. Begin the day in this rather mysterious way, this kind of beautiful way of just honoring the inner dimensions of life, honoring our capacity to really to be where we are, to sense, to really inhabit our life from the inside. And then that as a way to then move into life, to move into the rest of the day, then with this intention to be present, to be awake, to be sensitive, to be attuned, to kind of be receptive to the touch of life. And we do that because we see just how easily we lose ourselves and leave ourselves and forget ourselves. We forget the interior dimensions. And it doesn't mean, of course, that they disappear. It just means that they're sort of pushing us around unconsciously, strengthening our habits and our reactivity and our lostness, easily. So beginning the day with meditation is a way it's a very powerful way to compensate for that tendency. It's also a way to just honor our recognition of depth and the way these interior dimensions can really illuminate the rest of our life, the way they can transform our reactivity, the way they can kind of invite us into an easeful abiding, the way they can allow a sort of fundamental presence and openness to be the ground and foundation of everything we do and of all that we are. So it's in that spirit that I'm happy to see you all and glad to have some meditation time together. This week I'll be speaking about a different quality every morning. Qualities that we can bring alive in the formal practice of meditation, but equally qualities that can be really taken forth into the day as well. And I was just thinking this morning, what quality I might speak about. And I thought of this phrase the Buddha uses, which is very beautiful. I don't know if you'll have heard of it before. The phrase is called the bliss of blamelessness. And the bliss of blamelessness. Are you familiar with that? What might that be? What's the bliss of blamelessness? And it's spoken about in a few different ways. The main way that phrase occurs in the texts, the way the Buddha uses the phrase, is in relation to kind of living an upright conduct, like attending to our behaviors, that the way we act with each other is basically orientated around respect and non-harming and kindness. So the 5 precepts in Buddhism show that sort of basic ethical code of non-harming, not stealing, not injuring, not attacking, not lying, not gossiping, not just basic ways, the rules being ways of honoring the fact that other people matter and that we're going to want to treat people basically kindly, fairly, respectfully. And so the idea is that by acting in that way, one gets to enjoy the bliss of blamelessness. You know, when you do, if you treat somebody in a different way, if you act in a way that's unkind, harsh, manipulative, mean-spirited, jealous, judgmental, etc., you, even though you think it's about the other one, oh, I'm angry with them, they're so bad, they're so wrong, you know, you don't live with the bliss of blamelessness because you feel you carry the imprint of your own negativity, your own mean-spiritedness. Right? So it's not to judge us for that. We get caught in anger, or we get caught in resentment or in jealousy, or we take something that isn't ours, or we act in a way that's a little bit manipulative. And what the important thing is, when we're doing that, to see what's the effect it has, not just the effect that it has on the other, right? If we take something that doesn't belong to us, or if we're kind of harsh or aggressive to someone, not just what it does to them, it means that I go around, that's my mind state, harsh mind state, aggressive mind state, manipulative mind state, mean-spirited mind state. And so there's that sense that the bliss of blamelessness is a kind of natural harmony with oneself, a natural inner gladness, a non-blaming. Right. So that's the first dimension. Another way the bliss of blamelessness can be understood is in terms of Mara, or superego, right? That we actually, the act of we refraining from giving oneself a hard time. You know, to live the bliss of blamelessness is the very real transformation where we no longer give ourselves a hard time about anything. I don't shout at myself. I don't nag myself. I don't kind of go over and over something. You know, I don't shame myself. You know? So the absence of guilt, the absence of shame, the absence of blame, the absence of harassment, right? The absence of self-hatred. And again, so that the inner climate is one of just friendliness. Friendliness, that's the bliss of blamelessness. And then just a third dimension that I'll mention just before we start meditation is the active withholding of the tendency to blame others in terms of, you know, right and wrong. We get so busy, I'm right, and anyone can see that they're wrong. And then we manufacture blame, whether that's small scale, holding on to the blame in our family or in our social group or with our partner, or whether it's blame on the kind of, you know, in terms of politics, or whether it's blame around taking sides, you know, in the various situations or the wars, etc. So, and sometimes we can have a trouble with that. It's like, because it seems so clear to us that they're in the wrong. And maybe it is, you know, maybe we've really, really been able to zoom out, not just accept one view over another, whether it's family, whether it's big scale, small scale, whatever. Maybe we're really able to zoom out and see clearly and understand the historical perspective and understand what motivates a person to act in that. And we're still able to see, who's in the right and who's in the wrong. But if we're really able to see with that much clarity, we don't blame, because we see that the one who seems to us to be to blame has all kinds of factors that's made them act like that. When we really look clear-eyedly and clear-heartedly, I know those aren't words, when we really look with clarity into conflict, compassion is what arises, not blame. So I'm mentioning these three dimensions just briefly, the bliss of blamelessness, that we, because I think it's helpful to contemplate as we go through our day when we get caught in a moment of self-righteousness or of inner blame or outer blame. And in terms of our meditation then this morning, it's something of an invitation to sit here blamelessly, to breathe blamelessly, to not manufacture judgment, shame, pressure. Oh, what if there's no way to get this meditation wrong? What if there's no way to fail? What if there's nothing that should or shouldn't happen? What if there's no wrong thought? What if, body may be comfortable or uncomfortable. It's not right. It's preferable that it's comfortable, but it's not right or wrong. There's nothing that can happen in body as we sit and meditate. There's nothing that can arise in the mind that you need blame yourself for. Right? Oh. So, if you overdid it yesterday and strained your back and your back's hurting now, you need to take care of that. It's different to take care of it than it is to blame yourself for it. If you find your mind going over some familiar drama and getting all caught up in it, it's helpful to correct for that. Let it go, drop it, come back. Do that many, many times if necessary. But that's different than blaming yourself. Oh no, I shouldn't get so caught up. So friends, I'd like to invite you into the possibility and into the practice and into the transformational process through these three dimensions of abiding in and resting into and nourishing the heart by the bliss of blamelessness. So please take your seat for meditation. You're really settling into your posture and taking your time to discover your posture from the inside. It's feeling the way body is this morning. Its sleepiness or its awakeness. That feeling of a kind of dignity of being in a formal meditation posture. Sensing into any areas that feel a little tight or held. And seeing as you breathe out if any of those areas might just be able to soften and open a little. And seeing if you can just enjoy this sense of deepening connection with being here. If you can enjoy the opportunity to meditate. If you can enjoy this breath. And letting your attention seep into the breathing experience. Not looking for anything special, but just letting yourself really feel that expansion that happens during the in-breath, the way your abdomen and And your chest just swell and rise and open and expand with the in-breath. And the way those same areas soften and deflate and relax with the out-breath. On the way, there's that brief moment of stillness. Of silence. There at the end of the out-breath. And as we meditate together, I'd like to invite you to receive everything that happens as if it's okay. As if it's natural. As if there's nothing to push against or fight against. Nothing to blame yourself for or to blame anyone else for. As if each moment, pleasurable or painful or neutral, as if each moment can be welcomed. As it has its brief appearance and expression and disappearance. As if everything is sacred. As if everything is oh so brief as to deserve your care and attention. And it's like this then, resting into presence, sensing into breathing, welcoming experience, that we meditate together. Sensing into breathing, receiving experience, welcoming everything, rejecting nothing. No wrong thought, no wrong feeling, no wrong sensation. Nothing to blame yourself for. This experience is not yours. It belongs to life. Don't take yourself so personally. Don't hold your experience so tightly. Relax. Let everything come and go freely. In those moments, like now maybe, and you notice your attention has gotten lost, that you've wandered away into some thought stream. Notice your attitude in those moments. Don't get caught in that, in a moment of blame, judgment, disappointment. Just see if you can wake up gladly. Oh, here again. Just seeing if you can let whatever that thought stream was, just leave it alone. Drop it. Let it dissolve. See if you can be glad-hearted to find that instead of being lost in thought, in drama, in imagery, in memories or plans or worries or commentary, you're here. Here with the opportunity to be awake and relaxed. To be attuned and open. Just like this. In these last few minutes of the sitting. Just noticing whatever the quality of your practice seems to have been this morning. Whether you feel like you've been steady and focused, or lost and distracted, comfortable or in pain. Just seeing what if this moment was an invitation to just dissolve all measurements and judgments and evaluations. And what if these remaining few minutes of the meditation were just an invitation to receive life as it is? To sit here with a heart that is warm and welcoming and transparent, so that whatever arises just passes right through. No friction, no drama, no blame. May we all of us everywhere, be free from fear. May we all of us everywhere, see and act with compassion. May we all know the bliss of blamelessness. All right. Thank you for your practice and your presence. And there's that sense that they're really all sitting together, sitting in solidarity with one another, with life. And it's amazing how that sense of intimacy, just sitting in one's own breath, in one's own consciousness, simultaneously becomes a sitting in everything, a sitting in everyone, we could say, with everyone, as everyone. Yeah. So there's a little time for questions. If any of you have questions about blame or blamelessness or anything else, a few minutes for that. While you're typing your questions or raising your hands or whatever you can do. And just a reminder, if you type a question, just to write question in capitals at the beginning so I can separate it from the general just chat comments. Just a reminder in the meantime of the goodness that is Sangha Live, and all of this being freely offered, freely available, free of charge. Yeah. And yet, of course, like I often say, it's not free of cost. There's many, many thousands of euros of costs every month to manage the programming and the accounting and the coding and the corresponding and and offering money to the various teachers, etc., etc. And all of this is really kept on the road, as it were. The lights are kept on by your support. So here we are, supporting each other, Sangha Live supporting us all by maintaining the platform. Teachers each week supporting through offering reflections and practice guidance, and then you all supporting through offering dharma. So thank you. It's very, very directly, there's that very, very direct connection. Your dharma supports Sangha Live, so Sangha Live can support your practice, and round we go like that. So if you're able to, or wish to, or moved to, feel appreciative for what's happening here, able to make an offering, thank you. It's really, whether it feels like even if it feels like a very modest offering to you, maybe it's just a few euros, but that's actually how this works, through many people being able to make small contributions. And so thank you. George has just put the link there. Yeah, thank you. All right, let's have a look at the questions. Natalie says, how do I manage the arrows of hatred and aversion from a student who blames me for reporting him for academic misconduct? Whew. How do I drop the vortex of thinking around it, which is only hurting? Yeah. So the vortex of thinking, Natalie, is what gets all the attention, but it's actually secondary. What's the feeling? Right? Maybe the feeling is hurt, right? Or anger. Might be a mix of those and maybe some other things. Let the feelings have their place, and let the vortex of thinking, it won't disappear, but let it be secondary. So the question is more, how can I actually meet and metabolize, right, this hurt and anger? The person behaved badly in whatever way. It sounds like it may have been a right thing to do, to report them for the safeguarding of yourself, maybe, or of anybody else, right? The fact that the person now is, feels angry or humiliated, that's their problem. So just making sense. Firstly, what is it that I'm feeling? I'm hurt, angry, etc. And then how to give the space to that, to the heat of anger, etc., etc. It's like you forgive yourself the thinking. You won't resolve the hurt and anger by just going round and round and round and round and round what happened and how it could have happened differently and who's to blame and all of that stuff. You resolve it for realizing, oh, I feel hurt and angry, and whatever else might be there. And making room for that. Of course you feel hurt and angry. Quite understandable. Nothing wrong with hurt and anger. Right? So the two ways we go wrong with hurt and anger is either by lashing out and acting out on them, and that that's harmful, or by burying them, squashing them, guilt tripping ourselves for having them, right? Both of those things actually keep the hurt and anger going. Whereas actually, oh, I feel hurt and angry. Make some room for that. Let me see. Oh yeah, and then the thoughts are going, and you're letting the thoughts be pointers back to the allowing the process to sort of burn its way through. So it burns up, and burns off, and evaporates. Yeah. So I realise I've said all of that in a short time, but hopefully that's helpful. And Jane asks about regret, working with regret in meditation. So there's a really important distinction I like to make between regret or remorse, actually. Remorse, balloons. I think that's one of those hand gesture things. Remorse and guilt. Remorse is an important and helpful reflection. Oh, I did something that was unkind or unhelpful or insensitive. Oh, I feel bad, and now I feel badly about that, right? That's the way the bliss of blamelessness works. When we do something that we recognize we feel badly about, we feel badly about it. Actually reflecting on that is helpful, so as to not do it again next time, so as to be able to make amends if we can, or apologize if we can, right? So if the situation is such that you can apologize, make amends, etc., do so. And if it's too late for that, let yourself feel the remorse. Oh, I feel badly. Let yourself really make the connection between that unhelpful action and the fact that I feel badly. It's helpful. That's how you get to metabolize it, right? And to galvanize your capacity to not do it again. And so what's the difference between that and guilt or regret in a way that gives us, that's when we start giving ourselves a hard time. It's no longer about the action. It's about me. Oh, how could I do it? Oh, it's so awful. Oh, what do they think of me? Right? That's not helpful remorse. That is very unhelpful guilt tripping. Don't do that. When you realize that's what you're doing, banish it. Come back to the action. Oh, the action's painful. Oh, it's painful to feel that. Oh, it's painful to remember that. Oh, I don't want to do that again. Oh, I feel badly. That's good. So let it be. Let the regret be metabolized in the heart, right, through the feeling of sorrow or remorse. Don't let it try to get metabolized by the mind of blame and endlessly replaying and imagining what others think of you and all that other shit. Right? Remorse is helpful and necessary and transforming. Guilt is unhelpful, unnecessary, and just reinforces negative self ideas. Yeah. All right. Kaz says, how to get out from long-term bullying without blaming the other for their behavior. Yeah. So I don't know anything about the situation, Kaz, right? But if there's that sense of bullying, you do whatever you can to change the situation. That means removing yourself from the situation if you can, like removing yourself from the relationship, if you can. Or it means seeking some support, right? Telling somebody else that you're in this situation where somebody else is behaving, unreasonably, etc., etc. Again, I don't know what the situation is. And then, of course, the blaming or the resentful thoughts will arise. Of course they will, right? If long-term bullying, of course you feel poorly disposed towards that person, right? So it's not that you can just shut that down. But what you can do, like I said at the beginning of the meditation, if you look into a conflict with clarity, you find compassion. It doesn't mean that the blame all would disappear and you just feel nicey-nicey to the person. Of course not. But you recognize, oh, this person's bad behavior, this person's bullying is actually, where's it really coming from? It's coming from their own insecurity, their own inability to handle and metabolize their own emotional life. So they're taking it out on another, on you in this case. And then we see that, then it's like, even though we'll still feel poorly towards the person, we still feel afraid of them, maybe, wary of them, etc. Resentful of them. There might be some lingering resentment still, but that starts to be tempered by the fact that we see, oh, they're suffering, and their bullying behavior is an expression of their own lostness and hurtness and incapacity to handle their inner lives. And we all know what that's like, because we all have lived through some of that incapacity to handle our inner lives. So then we start to realize, oh, they are a symptom of, a product of their own karma, and it's painful to carrying your karma around, carrying your history around, carrying your unresolved material around. And again, we all know that, because we've all carried our own unresolved material around until we've been able to resolve it. Yeah. Cleo says, if we don't find a heart that feels warm or welcoming one day, what are your thoughts about imagining one? Yeah, good. That's, if you can't feel, you can't turn on a particular feeling, right? So if you can't feel warm or welcoming, just imagine as if these two powerful literally words with magical power, as if, right? My heart feels hurt and confused. Let me sit here. What would it be like to sit here as if my heart was warm and welcoming, even though it doesn't feel like it? So to see, what does that as if do? And the other way you can approach it, so you might be like that, just imagining, let me sit as if everything is natural. I actually use those words quite a lot in this morning's meditation, as if everything's natural, as if there's nothing to blame. Right? So that's that way. The other thing you can do is, if your heart feels the opposite of warm and welcoming, if it feels mistrustful and hurt, or if it feels cold and closed, okay, can you be welcoming and warm to the fact that your heart feels closed, right? You can't make your heart feel open, but you can be open to. You can't make your heart be warm, but you can be warm towards, you can be kindly disposed towards your own, grumpy or closed or mistrustful heart. Yeah. All right. Well, we're rocking through the questions this morning. How are we doing? We've still got some time. How do I manage the fear of not being good enough for a new job before even having found it? Right. Traumatized by the rejection from my previous job. Fear of the future. So it's a little similar, right, to the person we're talking about, hurt and angry, and metabolizing that. So you can do that in relation to the past, like the previous person was saying, right? Oh, I feel hurt and angry about something that has happened, and metabolizing that rather than just getting caught in the thought loops. So in the same here, right? In anticipation of this job, you feel what? Anxious and insecure, right? So rather than just catastrophizing thoughts and getting caught in all of that before there even is a job to think about, oh, I'm not good enough, I won't be able to do it, etc. Just recognizing, oh, because of what happened previously, I'm feeling insecure. So how do you metabolize that? Oh, insecurity needs a lot of just gentleness, kindness. If a dear friend or a nephew or a niece, or you're one of your own children or whatever, somebody came to you, oh, frantic, insecure, anxious, just, you know how you'd want to just provide a kind of loving, reassuring presence. It's like, hey, it's okay. So it's letting your own awareness, letting your practice provide that to your own insecurity. That's how you metabolize insecurity, by being very gentle and reassuring and like embracing of it. Yeah. And then you'll be able to sort out the actual thoughts, what your actual skills and capacities are and what they aren't, right? From just that maelstrom of insecure reinforcement. All right. Martine says, when you say let negative go thought, I tend to look for a negative feeling and drop it. Is this okay? Please, Martine, no need to go looking around for some negative thoughts. Right? No need to go looking for them. Just you recognize them if they arise, but if they're not there, what is there? You don't ever need to look for anything other than what's here. So in the meditation, I might point to some possibilities, right? Like I said, if you're waking up in a moment, notice if there's, some thoughts of blame or rejection or disappointment, and leave those lie alone. But you don't have to look for those thoughts. And maybe you can just, oh yeah, I'm here. Let yourself be here gladly, simply, openly. Yeah. All right. How are we doing? It's Lisa's cousin's funeral today. Feeling sick. Yeah, feel for you, Lisa. And just don't know your cousin's name, or I'd say it out loud. But just considering your cousin and you and family and friends gathering that. And amidst the feeling sick and amidst the grief and whatever the circumstances of your cousin's death, all of the feelings, even though difficult, painful feelings, they're arising out of and because of love. You're feeling this way because of your love for your cousin. And it's helpful sometimes amidst the painful feelings to sort of trace through the painful feelings. Oh yeah, this is because I loved, and because I love my cousin. And sometimes that's a helpful way to be able to hold the grief or the hurt or the sorrow that goes along with the loss. All right. So I think we'll have to stop there. I see there's a couple more questions, but feel free to copy them and just paste them back in again tomorrow. And so we'll have more opportunity then. So friends, as you go into your day, just to see for a moment what might it mean to take this reflection of blamelessness with you in the 3 dimensions that we mentioned at the beginning. Right? First dimension, just that commitment to living in a way that's respectful and non-harming to all those we encounter, familiar or unfamiliar, throughout the day. And then secondly, to suspend that tendency to judge right, wrong, good, bad, and the apportioning blame accordingly. And thirdly, then to cultivate an inner atmosphere that's inherently friendly and forgiving, where blame can't get a grip. Yeah. All right, friends. Here's wishing you well. Thank you for your presence and your practice. See you tomorrow.